Experience in politics has been the Democrats have challenged more than Republicans. To be fair,
Trump's challenged the court?
Challenged the elections more than the Republicans have, in extreme ways.
That's ridiculous.
Bill Maher is getting feisty with Tim Pool. Bill Maher's wanting to, interrogate him. And this is on the Club Random podcast. He's engaged. He's ready for Tim Pool to say something, ready to stir something up. And let's go ahead and get into this clip here.
I think one of the problems that we've seen over the past several years with Trump is the immediate assumption that he's a crazy person all the time. And so the only thing I can say is, well, look, I vote for the guy. I think this is probably doesn't make sense to me, but I'll see what happens and we'll see if it makes sense. Selective tariffs, I think, do make sense. But I do think that the way the Democratic Party has handled opposition has guaranteed the kind of Trumpian politics.
Well, I'm sure you heard about my little trip to the White House.
Absolutely.
And
very impressive.
Thank you. And the thing that upset the far left so much, these same people who believe in the crazy things I was just mentioning, and the ones who really hate me, they really found a new reason to hate me because when I came back and gave my report about it, among the things I said, to your point about everything is he crazy, was, I think, word for word, a crazy person doesn't live in the White House. A person who plays a crazy person on TV lives in the White House.
Yeah.
And they found that very triggering. But again, as I said many times during that piece, I'm just going to tell you the truth.
Wait, is he saying that Donald Trump plays a crazy person on television? Or that there's actually, or the media is lying that he's crazy? And because I really don't seem to think that he plays a crazy person on television. I don't understand that.
I didn't vote for him. I think we all know that. I went right back to being as tough on him as I ever had been. So I wasn't seduced, but that was my estimation. Again, to your point about, is he just crazy? When you meet him in person and spend that kind of time, and he's not on his his attack mode thing, he does not strike you as a crazy person or a person who doesn't listen or can't hear things. Again, they were very mad at me for saying this, but that's what happened. And I am not a liar. That's my main bond with the audience. So even if I offended some people by telling the truth, in the long run, that's what I do. And they... Yeah.
What I...
Oh my God! I mean, Trump could listen to somebody, but he takes his job seriously as the president. Holy smokes! Is that why he plays a crazy person? Because of being quote unquote attack mode? Like he's the president, right? Our country's been taken advantage of for far too long here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.
In 2020, I was not going to vote for Trump. I'll never vote for Trump. I don't like Trump.
In 2020. In what?
And I donated the max to Andrew Yang and Tulsi Gabbard. And my position, my whole thought process was the Democrats are going crazy and we need the moderate, sane Democrats to maintain control of this party and stop the insanity.
Correct.
And they lost. And so then Trump put out his statement in around August saying, we're going to ban DEI in government contracting. We're going to do these things, blah, blah, blah. No new wars was big for me. I'm a very, anti-interventionist for a lot of reasons. And so I said, I guess I'm voting for Trump. Instantly, it was like the liberals, even YouTube, they all said, we're going to move your name over to this list. I kid you not. There's representatives at YouTube. They told me straight up that the liberal rep was no longer representing me and they were switching me to a conservative rep. It was the weirdest thing. Yeah. And I'm like, it's not that I like who Trump is or that I'm like,
oh my gosh, so Tim Pool was force-fed to us. I thought he was MAGA. How is he not he's not MAGA?
Thinking that conservatives have a good policy. I'm pro-choice. The issue is that you can look at it right now. There's no charismatic leaders. There's no front runners. There's no policy position. It seems like the only thing they have is the right is bad, Trump is bad. And so I'm asking, like, what are our plans?
No, they have, Democrats have policy positions on everything, and many of them are, I think, preferable to Republican policy positions. Number one being they concede elections. That's kind of a big one with me. They listen to what courts say.
I don't know about that.
You don't think they listen to what courts say? I mean,
so Joe Biden
I mean, that's
ignored the court rulings twice on forgiving student loans and then tried to decree the Equal Rights Amendment.
that's true. That's true.
But
Yeah.
I'm not
No,
saying that to defend Trump. I'm just saying, like,
there are arguments. Of course, the Republicans, that just works for them, because there are issues like what you mentioned, which is not untrue, where it's so easy for them to go, well, they did this, so we're going to do it 5 times worse. And then they do. But there are some like that. But there's one that has no fuzz on it, and that's elections. When Democrats
Oh my gosh, we're doing chicken and the egg right now.
lose elections, it's over the next day. Kamala Harris, Hillary Clinton,
not Hillary Clinton,
just
not Al Gore.
Well, Al Gore was not Al Gore doing that. That election was obviously decided by 537 votes. There was an absolute, when it's that close, there should be a recount. And whether that recount went the right way, we'll never know, because that state was run by Catherine Harris and Jeb Bush.
There's a real, sorry to interrupt, but there's a really good, I guess, I don't know if you call it a philosophical point that I've noticed that I think you're experiencing right now is I'm 39. So you lived through a lot of these administrations and these political cycles.
Yeah.
And you have experiences that I don't even know they exist.
Yeah, but
so,
you know what? I didn't live through Lincoln, but I know about it.
Sure. My point is, my experience in politics has been the Democrats have challenged more than Republicans. To be fair,
Have
Trump
challenged the court?
challenged the elections more than the Republicans have, in extreme ways.
That's ridiculous.
So, but perhaps because you're older than me and you've seen more than I have.
Again, there are history books, there's newspapers.
I know.
You don't know something only because you lived through it. I know about the French Revolution also.
My point is,
I mean, you could know about this.
Indeed.
I mean, this is something that people your age say all the time, and I've made fun of it before. Like, it's this, like, if I wasn't alive for it, it didn't happen. I don't have to know about it.
But that's
no,
not
I mean,
that's funny, but it is interesting because you understand the polarization that's happening right now, and then you see it exacerbated on social media, especially, and so you're able to recognize patterns that are just, much higher rate than I think most people are, compared to back in the day when it was newspapers. News was traveling slowly through magazines. There was no YouTube or news outlets, and that type of thing just makes you think about history a little bit differently in your perspective.
I think magazines, and it wasn't YouTube. So that type of thing makes you think about history a little bit differently.
I mean, okay, but
I'm saying that in 2016, I didn't vote for either Trump or Hillary, and then I got 3 years of Trump as working for the Russians.
He was not working for the Russians.
Jonathan Chait went on MSNBC and said he may have been a Soviet asset since the 80s.
Well,
and so for me, I'm like, I'm out. This is crazy.
Is Tim Pool like a closet? Was he like?
Is Tim Pool like a closet MAGA or a force in the closet as a MAGA? Because he's just he's acting like he's not. I'm not sure. Is just genuinely him as a liberal? Curious to hear what you guys think of the comments.
Like forced in the closet as, or is this?
And I'm not
genuinely him. Is he just actually a liberal?
And so, like, understand. And I'm not saying you're wrong about history. I'm saying that experiencing a political cycle over years is different from reading the condensed history books, which of course I do. So to live through 4 years of a president, their term every single moment, the history books gloss over most of those experiences that we don't have as young people. So I have people on my show who are 25, and one of the people who works for us says nothing ever happens. She's 24. And this is like a Gen Z thing. Nothing ever happens. And I said, are you kidding? The past 10 years have been nothing but happenings.
Yeah.
Here's the issue. When she was 14, she wasn't paying attention to politics. When she was around 20 years old and started, this was the natural state of politics in her experience. So this is basic. This is normal. And for me, it's crazy. And I think for you, it's crazy. But they grew up in this and they've normalized it. So my view is this.
Exactly. And you caught onto a different cycle than what somebody else caught onto. And that's very interesting.
Point is, when I watched the Democrats accuse Trump and Manafort and Carter Page and all of these things, especially when they fabricated evidence against Carter Page, I'm just like, wow, I can't believe the Democrats are going to this length to deny an election.
You're watching a little too much Fox News or somebody who's slanting this a certain way. I mean, Paul Manafort was sharing polling information with a GRU agent.
And do you know how they found out about that?
How did they find out about that?
Ukrainian government officials shared it with the Democratic Party.
So?
Politico reported that. So you have this Ukrainian interference in our election as reported by Politico.
Oh, shit. I didn't even know that.
And I look at that and I go, wow, the Ukrainian government sent incriminating evidence to the Democrats? Crazy story. Then they claimed
But it was true.
And indeed. And the issue is, why wasn't that a scandal? That the Ukrainians were interfering in the election?
Let's not get, because this is a friendly thing, let's not get into the weeds on like the Russia thing. First of all, it's like 5 years old, so people are bored with it.
Did he just take a shot?
Oh shit! Did he just take a shot and said, "Let's go full Russia mode"?
Did he just take a shot and he said, "Let's go full Russia mode"?
Okay, but I'll just say this in general. It'd be hard to argue with it, I think, but I'll just say it, and maybe we can just move on. Whatever it was, I don't think Trump was a Russian asset. Don Jr. at one point said, or maybe it was Eric, we do get a lion's share of our to the company from the Russians. So there was obviously a lot of involvement with the Russians. Trump was asked at his first press conference, and he said, I have no dealings with the Russians. It's a total, complete lie. They had nothing. It's not illegal. It's not. But it's it just looks suspicious to say I don't know anything about the Russia. I have no idea. And then like I don't know anybody who's talking to the Russians. Everybody in the administration, Michael Flynn was prosecuted for it, was talking to the Russians. He said on TV, Russia.
But Ukraine was sharing stories to Politico. He's hyping this up right now, but Tim Pool already gave the counterpoint, so all of your strikes right now are also strikes against Ukraine as well.
If you're listening, I want your help with something. Okay, whether you think that's good or bad, it was completely unprecedented. So, like, the idea that he should not have been investigated for there's a lot of smoke here with Trump and Russia. To me, okay, I'm sure they overdid it as everybody overdoes everything. But there was a lot of smoke, enough to investigate, and what he was asking another country to do in our elections publicly was unprecedented. We always had one rule in this country. We're going to go against each other, yes. But they brought that in the same election,
I forgot the name of the woman. This is on Politico. You can just read their story. It was, I can't remember the guy's name who reported it.
No, it's possible that, again, there's always some version of it on the other side. It's just not as egregious, I think.
You know, they're accusing me of working for the Russians now, and this is, or they tried. And so here's the story. I get contacted by a conservative personality.
Oh my gosh, is he going to talk about Tenet Media right now? Is he going to talk about Tenet Media?
I've got 3 shows that I host, several that I have staff that host. One of them is called...
Okay, I don't want to hear his anti...
That's where we're going to cut it off today, you all. But let me know what you all think about Tim Pool going on the Club Random podcast, having to put Bill Maher in his place. And Bill Maher left there stunned on his own podcast, the Club Random podcast.